Hey, welcome back to Miss and Mrs. I'm Shatara.
I'm Elise. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe below.
Yes. Well, we're back. You know?
We back!
Y'all, we are back. We was away for a while. We did do our last video over Zoom because we were out of town for the holiday and we just kind of wanted to quarantine, but we're back. Yeah. And thank God we're in good health. Our families are doing good.
Yes.
So, great. Yeah. So let's get in. You ready?
Let's go.
So today, we are talking about validation and feeling the need to either feel validated or validating others. You know, I was just thinking about it, just, you know, like thinking about how I grew up and stuff like that. And just even, because I used to be a people pleaser. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like I kind of still am. Yeah, me too. I mean, I think maybe a little bit of that is in a lot of people. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but I did. It's something that I struggled with a lot where I felt like I had to because I didn't want people to be mad at me and I wanted them to always be proud of me. Mm-hmm. But now, like, getting older, I mean, I'm in my mid-30s now, and just, you know, just, like, people really don't care like you think they do.
They don't.
So it's like, why not just do you?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And not to be reckless with it. Yeah. But yeah, not to be reckless with it, but just you know, taking the pressure off yourself to not have to people please all the time.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. So as I read the definition of validation, because I wanted to make sure I really truly understood the definition of validation. Because I mean, I have my definition, but I was like, let me make sure I really truly know the definition. And then as I was reading it, I'm like, man, I hope people do not seek validation from me because I feel like it's so much pressure. Like, and I know, like, I put a lot of pressure on myself wanting validation from people. So I hope that I don't do that to anybody because that's a lot of pressure. And I would never want anybody to feel like that because of something I said or did or they feel like they need to do for me. But I think mine stems from a different place. It definitely stems from a younger me, but I think it stems from being a twin and always feeling like you can't, like, you don't want that person to be better than you, or people are always comparing the two of you because you're twins. And it's like, we're actually two different people.
Very much so.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, but I feel like we have always been compared to each other. And I think that's where it stems from me, just in every aspect. And it's like, you don't want people to expect something out of you because she did something. And it's like, okay, that was her. That's not me. I mean, like, and then it even comes from wanting validation from your twin because you automatically have this person that you are with for your entire life. So it's like you want validation from that person, but you want it to be like in a good way. And so sometimes it's not. And not that it's on purpose or anything, but it's so much pressure. But I think it comes from just having that other person there and people expecting y'all to be so much alike and you're not. And I don't think well, for me, I can't speak for her, but I don't think I realized it until we went to different colleges and we got to become our own people and grow into our authentic selves, because in college, no one knew there was an Elise and Elisa, you know, but every other part of our life before that, it was always Lily and Lisa. Like there was never just Elise, never just Elisa. And the same for her. She got to go to a different school and people knew her for her, not for Lily's twin sister. You know what I mean? So it was just, I think that's where it stems from me. And it's like, it was a lot of pressure. So I don't know.
That's good. I don't think well, no, we've never talked about this.
Yeah.
We've never talked about this. And I think for me, it stemmed from growing up in church.
Yeah.
Growing up in church, you got the Easter speeches, you got the Christmas speeches, you got the choirs, you got the drill teams, you got everything. So we did everything to get an applause. We did everything to get attention. We did everything for somebody to praise us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was the attention. You know what I mean? So it's like, as long as people were clapping their hands for you, you're good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, obviously, I'm nowhere near being a celebrity, nothing like that. But you know how sometimes they say when celebrities, they get addicted to the high. So when they don't have that fame anymore, they get, distracted with other things to kind of fill that void. You know what I mean? So like me growing up, it's like, as I got older, I kind of still craved that attention. You know what I mean? And crowds got smaller, different friends came and go. So it's like you're still, having that need to want to somebody to say you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Or, oh, that was Bob. Or, or anything just to keep you kind of going. Just always looking for that next applause. You know what I mean? And so out of that, I think I just became a people pleaser.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Doing things that I really didn't want to do, but didn't want to make somebody mad because I wanted somebody to applaud me or to praise me some type of way. And I mean, it definitely led to other insecurities. Like I feel like the need to wanting to feel validated all the time is from a place of insecurity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you don't know who you are. You need somebody to encourage you all the time, or you need somebody to lift you up. Like, you're not good unless somebody tell you that you're good. Right. So just having, I mean, that's, for me, that's just where it stems from.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not there anymore. Because if you know me, I really care less. I mean, not saying that I have it all figured out, because there is a part of me that still wants people to be proud. Like, but the difference is, it's the people that matter.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I want my husband to be proud of me, regardless. I want my mom and the men in my life to be proud of me no matter what. And my grandmother, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I want to, live a life where people are happy being attached to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the difference now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I definitely agree. I mean, there's still a part of me that seeks validation from important people in my life. But before, I think validation for me, I wanted it from anybody who was just in my life, period. You know? But like, not now, it doesn't have to be everybody.
No, it doesn't.
You know?
And a lot of, because there's so many, I mean, I don't want to say this term loosely, but so many people broken, that it's easy for them to tear you down, because that's a place where they're broken from.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it is important as we grow to get to know who we are and to be happy with who we are.
Yes.
And to really seek God no matter what we do, because that's who's going to judge us in the end.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I think that's the part where growing, because it takes journey, it takes experiences. But that's the part that I'm learning now. Like, it don't matter what nobody has to say. You know what I mean? It really does not, because at the end, what I do, it ain't gonna affect you, and what you do, it ain't gonna affect me. You know what I mean? When I die or get before God or whatever, you know what I mean?
But I get it, because I mean, and this is like not even a few years off from me, where I feel like I didn't want people to be mad at me, or I don't want people to be disappointed in the choices or decisions I made. But now I'm at a point like, I'm going to do what I feel like I need to do. And if I learn a lesson from that, then that's a lesson that I needed to learn. If it's a blessing for me, then it was a blessing I deserved. But I don't need your validation for it. Like, I'm going to do what I feel like is best for me. And I'm going to do what I feel like is best for my daughter. And if people are not happy about it or disappointed about it or whatever, thank you for your opinion, but it doesn't change what I'm going to do anymore. And I used to live a life like that, where I was just like, I wanted to please people. Well, I'm still a tad bit of a people pleaser, but that's just because that's the kind of heart I have. But it's not because I want validation from you.
That's the difference. It's
because that's who I am, and those are the things that I outpour. So. And
the funny thing is, today, a year ago today, you know how Facebook have your memories. A year ago today, I posted, "No is a complete sentence." And I was saying this last year, but I said no is a complete sentence, and I've enjoyed saying it this year.
Yeah.
And I mean, and people don't realize no is and it's really okay. Like, if people don't know how to respect your decisions and how you move, I mean, this has nothing to do with disrespect as far as you saying no for something.
Right.
But if people can't respect how you feel about something, that's a boundary that they're crossing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And boundaries are important, because should nobody have control over you
at all.
And that's what I mean, by that. But
And
But,
it's definitely harder when you're younger.
yeah.
I feel like
Absolutely.
it's something you definitely have to
Grow
learn
into.
and grow into.
You definitely grow into
But
this.
once you do, it brings you a sense of peace.
And let me say this real quick, and I'm sorry I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off, but I
that's
don't want to
fine.
forget. When we have to grow into this, and this, I mean, because we can't act like this when you're younger, it's harder for even other adults in your life to accept that about you.
Oh, yeah.
When other people have to accept the fact that you're getting older.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll go out my way for any of my close family, and they know that. So it's not like I'm just disrespectful and rebellious, y'all. But it's harder for other people to see you grown now.
Absolutely.
And that part is like what can cross boundaries at that
Absolutely.
At that part.
I mean, and I've recently had words with an older cousin of mine, and I truly believe it comes from a place of that person seeing me as their little cousin. And it's like, actually, I'm a grown woman
Grown.
in my mid-30s with a child of my own. So it's like, that don't work for me. Like, be you. If that's how you handle situations, that's what you do.
Right.
But coming to me in that manner is where you that's not what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And younger me would have been like, oh, I need to do this because this adult is telling me I'm supposed to do this. But it's like, I'm still your younger cousin, but I'm not your little cousin.
Right.
And I'm not gonna jump because you told me to. So it's like, I think sometimes older people have to realize you have to be respectful just as much as you're asking me to be respectful.
Yeah.
Like, respect your elders, respect people that's
older
than you. I get it. But you don't get to be rude and nasty and expect me to hold my respect to a certain level.
Well said.
Like, we all have to be respectful.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how that goes.
And it's just, that's why we say, we're not telling no 18-year-olds that watch us to go out and be like, no, and putting your foot down. Nothing like that. And I would never say no to something just out of, nasty. You know what I mean? But, once you get older and you've overcome some things, you kind of learn who you are.
Yeah.
And it's just really all about boundaries and understanding. I don't need to say yes to you for me to feel good about myself.
Absolutely.
I feel good about myself anyway, whether I do something you want me to do or not, whether I make you proud or not, whether I'm doing something for you or not, I already feel good about myself. Whereas we're saying before, I needed to do something for you to feel good about me.
Right.
Even when I didn't feel good about me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it also takes me back to a conversation I was having with my nephew who just turned 18. I'm like, so what's your plan when you get out of high school? And he was like, kind of hesitant, and he was just like, well, I don't really want to go to college. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm not pushing college down people's throat. I went to college. I have student loan debt up to here. So if you know college is not for you, I'm not pushing that down your throat. I'm not saying go to college, spend all this money, and then got to pay it back and you ain't did well. So I was like, okay, so what's your plan?
Right.
And he's like, I want to go to trade school. I'm like,
oh,
do that. I'm like, that's where the money at anyway. Trade school. I'm like, in the trade he wants to go, he wants to be a mechanic. I'm like, do that. People always have cars.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
That ain't never going away.
So, I mean, do what you feel like you need to do. And I was just proud of him for saying that. Because, I mean, I know he looks up to my oldest nephew who did go to college, but that's the route he wanted to take for what he wants to do in his life. But he also went to college with a plan. Like, he knew what he wanted to go to college for. And I was telling my other nephew, if you don't, then that's okay. Go do what you want to do with your life.
And a lot of times at 18 years old, we're wasting all this money and still have like no clue.
At all. I was like halfway through my sophomore year when I figured it out. And I was like, I mean, thank God freshman year is like beginner courses and stuff, So I was like.
And I still didn't have it figured out. And I think for me, and this goes back to having to feel validated, for me, I love, like, the signs were there. I've been braiding hair since I was 12 years old, doing other people, making money, you know what I mean? Doing other people's hair since that young. But for some reason, it didn't feel like it was good enough when it was time for me to go off. So, I went off, spent all this money, got in all this debt, and just not knowing because you want to make the people around you proud. You know what I mean? But now it's just like, and we don't know that back then.
No.
You know what I mean? But just having other people validate you, that's just how big it is. And that we don't understand that now.
We don't. But I think that was a generational thing as well, because I feel like our generation, I feel like we thought we were supposed to go to college. Like, that's what we were taught.
That's
like,
what we were taught. You go to high school
and you go to college. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think it's because our generation of parents did not go to college after high school. So, but then it became this thing that you're supposed to go to college. So that's what they taught us.
Yeah.
That's what school taught us. Like, I remember my senior year, our advisors was like, okay, so you need to be filling out some college applications. It was almost like telling me that's what you need to do, not asking me if that's what I want to do.
Exactly.
And so we did it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I need to pick a school.
And not having options.
Yeah.
Like, there were no options. You know, like for me, trade school wasn't an option. Hair school wasn't an option. It was like, where you going, and you can't go here because she going there. You can't
like it was like, you need to send me your college applications. And I'm like, okay, I need to pick a school. You know what I'm saying? But like, again, going back to the twin thing, that's what my sister wanted to do. So I'm like, oh, okay, but Lisa picking schools, I guess I need to pick a school to go to. You know what I'm saying? But like, even once I finished and then she went to get her master's, people kept saying, when you going back to school? I'm not. Like, I don't even like school.
Right.
Like, I'm not going back. And so, and you know, and it was like, just because she's in school, that's not what I wanted to do. Now, I did end up going back to school for mortuary science, but I mean, that's because that's something I wanted to do, not because my sister was getting her master's. And I mean, even now, she still talk about going back to school, and people be like, so what y'all doing now? And I'm
not
like,
y'all.
Ain't no y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no y'all.
Release yourself from the pressure, like you had said earlier. It can be so much pressure to always have to please somebody else. And this is a grown conversation. I will never forget. So, okay, even on another level of it, even getting in church when I got a little bit older, like in my mid-20s, getting into church and stuff, there were ideas that would come to me all the time to do something. Even with Eris, the mentorship program that I had. Do you know how, I mean, outside of me and my husband not being in agreement about it at first, when we finally got into agreement about it and I was ready to like go, it was like, oh, I gotta go talk to this person. I gotta go talk to that person. And this woman who I do look up to, she came to me, she's like, what's your husband say? Like, is y'all in agreement about it? Like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I gotta make sure this person good, but it ain't got nothing to do with them.
No.
You know what I mean? Just looking for somebody else. Like, yeah, that's a good idea. And then the person that I looked up to, that I wanted to tell about, who I thought was gonna be on my train, that person has so much negative stuff to say about it. To the point where it caused, like, our relationship never kind of like bounced back from that totally. Like, we good, but it was different. But it was like all of that, but the only person I needed in my corner was there from the beginning. Yeah. And so the one woman who did tell me that, she's like, what are you doing? And she was like, if God tell you something, do it. Do it. And she's like, do it. She was like, you don't need a million confirmations. You don't need this person tell you, this person tell you. And, you know, and that I will never forget. She used to always, she's like, I be talking to you all the time, but you don't move. Because you waiting on somebody else to say it. You know, and it's like, we can't. It's like, we cannot. I'm sorry. But it's like, we waiting on people.
All the time.
We're waiting on people instead of moving when the ideas come. You know what I mean? Instead of moving when we just, like, when you can't sleep at night, you know, I'm sure y'all heard this a million times. When you can't sleep at night, that's what you're supposed to be doing. I got that from Sister Act 2. I love me some Sister Act 2. But when she told her, like, if you go to bed at night or something and all you think about is singing, you're supposed to be a singer, girl.
I mean, really though. Really,
but you're waiting on other people to tell you who you are. Yeah. And they ain't gonna tell you who you are because they don't know who they are. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But I don't mean that I've experienced so much pressure trying to please other people, even until, like, I would say for me, I mean, of course, growing up in the church, like I mentioned, but just like the young adult years, from like 18 to 24, I was all over the place. Yeah. You know what I mean? Wanting everybody to be proud of me. And it was just like so confusing.
It's draining. And it just confuses you even more. And then you just don't know because you're getting this feedback from here, this feedback from here. And then you just be like, what I'm supposed to do?
What you supposed to be doing?
And then that's why people give up. Because you're like,
true.
I don't know what to do, so I'm just not going to do nothing.
Yep.
Like, it just...
People become stagnant because they have so many different voices going on around them. And it's just like, what do you want to do? Exactly. What was the idea that dropped in your spirit?
Yep.
What is the dream that you have? And even going, I think this is also why I wanted to talk about this now, because this is one of our last recordings before 2021. Mm-hmm. So much stuff has happened this year, and I hope everybody got vision. I hope people are ready to run forward that with whatever it is that you want to do. Don't let nobody stop you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Stop waiting on permission from people. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're going to be doing better than them. Then they really don't want you to do better than them.
They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it.
You know, but just stop waiting on people and move forward with what you want to do. Stop letting people dictate, you know, your progress.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And being in fear about what people would say. Mm-hmm. People are just people. They're mere humans. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And everybody has opinions. People are always going to have something to say. That's just the nature of a human being.
Yeah.
But it's up to you to do what you feel you need to do for your life.
Seriously.
And I mean, and it even takes me back to like dating, because it's like, even when you're dating people, you want validation from your family, you want validation from your friends, and you be like, well, if I date him, what people gonna say? Can I take him home to my daddy? Can I take him around my best friend's husband? How would they get along? What my friend gonna say? That, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's always something. But it's like, I mean, of course you want to talk to people about somebody you're dating, because that sometimes you just don't see the outside of it. You know, especially when you're inside dating somebody, of course you see all the good, you see all the great, amazing things about this person. Sometimes somebody on the outside can see something different. So I'm not saying just don't listen to nobody, don't take no opinions or nothing like that. I'm just saying use wisdom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And take bits and pieces of it. You ain't gotta just swallow everything people give you and expect to do something with it. But it's just like, just use wisdom with who you take information from. I mean, and like I said, we ain't saying go out there and just wild out. Like, Missy said, I ain't gotta do this.
No,
you know.
Because but like you said, wisdom is the key word. There's wisdom in somebody giving you some advice. I mean, you want to know who you're getting advice from. Exactly. And you also have to know the place that it's coming from. And we talked about that before. Just know who you're dealing with. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I feel like you should seek advice, and you have those, like, you know, for you, y'all go to y'all dad for everything. You know what I mean? Or mom for everything. For me, I may have a couple other people outside of my mom or my aunt or my grandma that I may talk to before maybe even going to them. But I feel like somebody should always have somebody that you can go to that will give you good, sound unbiased.
Exactly.
unbiased wisdom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, because again, like, I always go back to, like, hurt people.
Yes.
So you don't want somebody coming from a hurt place giving you
some bitter information.
Yeah, and it's just because it doesn't have to be that way. And that's why I say, like, they always say learn from my experience. Like, I get that, but people learn from their own experiences. So while I can take bits and pieces from what you learned, some people have to go through things themselves to get to that place, because you
especially when they're not
it.
seeing it.
Exactly.
Some people have, like, for me and Alonzo, we talk about this all the time. We can see other people go through something, but my husband is good about this. He'll ask, like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like, he's the type that he's always asking for wisdom. He really is trying to figure out, because he's like, okay, I don't have to fall in that if you just fell in that and then you tell me what happened. And I think lack of I don't want to say storytelling, but lack of sharing your stories, even from the older people. Like, it was a lot of stories that wasn't handed down to us, and why I am the way I am in some aspects. You know what I mean? Yeah. That wasn't, so share your stories if you want, but, you know, we can learn from other people's experiences. Of course, there are times when we gonna just do what we want to do, and we have to learn through that.
Right.
But again, it goes to those people you have in your life. Who are you talking to? You know what I mean? Who, just that unbiased and just sound. Like me, I need stability in my life. I've always needed stability in my life. But having that sound, even platform for somebody who is just there for you no matter what.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
That was good.
But, yeah, 2021, I mean, really, just don't let fear hold you back from anything you want to do. It's like people are launching businesses left and right. You can do it too. It's enough money out here for everybody. It's a group of people assigned specifically for you.
Yeah.
Waiting on your product to come forth.
I agree. I mean, 2020 has really taught me a lot. And it's just, I'm thankful for it. Like, while things were hard, I'm thankful for it because it has taught me a lot about myself and who I am and how I handle things. And I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, had some of the events not taken place, I would still be stuck where I was. And so I feel like some of these things had to take place so I could get unstuck.
Yes. And for me, I think it was fear. You know what I mean? Like, y'all may see us, and we're a lot alike. Yes, we are, but we're a lot of ways and different. Where she will pull me out of my comfort zone because I can let fear, like, all of this I said today was from a place of growing from a place of insecurity and letting fear, like, take over me. I would never be behind a camera. I would never be on YouTube. I may have thought of the idea, but I wouldn't actually put boots to the ground. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for Elise pulling, like, okay, shit, you got to do this, this, and that. No, we going to learn this. Oh, no, you going to post that. Because I didn't even like to post, you know, I don't post on my personal Facebook that much. But, you know what I mean? Just stepping out.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so much was birthed from the challenges that happened in 2021 that, like, I'm not glad of the pandemic, not saying that, but I'm glad of getting to a place where it's like, okay, it's time to move and shake.
Yeah. And that's how I feel. Like, I'm not saying I'm glad the pandemic happened because actually I'm ready for it to be over.
Oh, yeah.
But I am thankful for the events that took place because of the pandemic.
Right.
And I think it has, some really great things have come out of it. I mean, and not just for me or Shatara, but other people that I've seen.
Yes.
Just out there, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, everybody has started YouTube channels and podcasts and all kind of stuff. But if that's truly what people wanted to do, it took this for us to all step out and get small businesses started or whatever, you know, and hopefully when things start to turn around and, you know, people getting jobs and all that and stuff, maybe some of us don't have to go back to a 9 to 5, you know, or maybe some of us do just so we can keep fueling our small businesses, you know what I mean? But I think it has opened a lot of people's eyes to a lot of things, and it's brought out talents in people that they did not know they have or that they just didn't use. And I mean, I feel like it has a lot of people have grown from being stuck in the house.
Absolutely.
And I'm grateful for it.
And guess what? You didn't, at this point in time now, we didn't need nobody to tell us, oh, you know, you can do it. No, we gonna do it.
We just did it. That's what I'm saying.
We gonna do it. And we feel great about it.
Absolutely.
Even feedback that we've received, everything is not always nice, you know what I mean? Some stuff, like we say, some stuff you have to filter through, take what's for you and let the other stuff fly. But the feedback that we receive is not making or breaking us. We take it, we apply it, we use it where we can, but we keep on going. Don't let nobody else's opinion stop you from keeping to go forward.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. I mean, and I appreciate it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, and although sometimes I have conversations with people, I had a conversation with a friend the other day, and he was asking me some really tough questions. And while I was answering, I kind of got annoyed at some point, and then I was like, actually, this is good. Like, I needed somebody to ask me these questions. And so later, you know, I was thinking about it or whatever, so I was like, it was a good conversation. But it's like, sometimes you feel attacked when people come at you with certain stuff, but just use it, apply it, do better, level up, prove people wrong.
There you go.
Like, just do it.
People say that I went from one side to another side as far as like my attitude and just being upfront and very vocal, because I wasn't always like that, but I have more peace.
You wasn't always like that?
No, I didn't say no. I didn't say no a lot.
I don't think
I just kind of like went with the flow a lot. Yeah, I mean, I kind of was a leader. I'm always a leader, but sometimes I led when I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Sometimes I took control when I didn't want to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that causes a lot of pressure because now you got people seeing you for something that you're really not. Not saying that I'm not a leader, because I am, but you got somebody seeing you for something that you're really not that person, in that type of way.
Yeah. I get that.
So just for years and just, just people pleasing. I think for me, Alonzo.
I had it bad.
Yeah, I did too. I think for me, Alonzo is what kind of woke me up to that. Because when we, in a new relationship, it's supposed to be about y'all too. But I had so many other people pulling on me. And he like, look, is it us? Or you finna be with them? He was like, and I'm not giving you an ultimatum because I know, he was like, I love your friends. But it was like, okay, are we going to work on us or you going to be gone every day?
Yeah.
You're going to be, you know what I mean? So it's that people pleasing thing, I mean.
Yeah. I mean, and again, that comes with age.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
That's crazy. But yeah, so you guys, I pray that everyone has a great rest of the year. I mean, it's still time left for God to do whatever he wants to do. Expect the great to happen before the end of the year is out. Nothing is impossible.
Agreed. Well said.
Nothing is impossible. Yeah.
Thank y'all so much. We really do appreciate y'all.
Yeah, we do.
We really appreciate everyone who watch our videos. I appreciate those who ask the hard questions.
Yeah.
I appreciate those who just subscribe.
But you know how I feel about yes people anyway. I don't really care for yes people. So those that do ask the hard questions, thank you, for real.
Yeah.
Because it causes us to think about things that we wouldn't normally think about.
Absolutely.
And growth. That's what growth happens.
I was going to say, it makes you grow.
It does.
Because you can get to a point where you're good with
and
it.
everybody like, yeah, that was good. Yeah, that's good. Okay, but what else?
Yeah.
Was there some substance there?
Absolutely.
But yeah, thank you.
So thank y'all. We appreciate it.
Well, y'all have a great day. Tune in for game night Tuesday nights at 8:30 on our Facebook and YouTube. Yeah, Facebook.
Y'all, Facebook be acting up.
Oh, we have a giveaway every Tuesday for the month of December. So shout out to Taylor who won our first giveaway.
Yay,
but you have to join game night to be entered.
You do have to be on game night in order to get your name in the bucket.
All right, y'all. Love you.